chained onto me, my adolescent dreams. Pulling, clutch me deep. All my body exposed, marked up by your shadows.
Alright, well now that you've gotten a good look at the figure, let's get straight to the unboxing. Clearly the proper weapon of choice to open any sort of anime figurine. The cool thing about this one was that it came straight from a Japanese distributor, so all the tape was covered in like Amazon kanji and hiragana. But luckily my box was packaged well and came with all the plastic and nothing was like smashed or ruined. Here's the box. It's really ornate and cool. I'm still figuring all this out, so if you have any like tips or comments, let me know. But the box looks amazing, and I was really happy mine wasn't damaged. All that text back there is in Japanese. It probably says something like small pieces, small parts, don't put in your mouth, something along those lines. But here you can see, obviously it's from Goblin Slayer. All like the text on it is in Japanese, besides obviously like the title. But it's obviously the High Elf Archer. I'm really stoked about how this one turned out, and you'll see why. Once again, we're using the masterful katana opening tool. Not a big deal, just super weeb over here. Pop this thing open. Oop! Oh, that's my face. Again, we go back to the katana because there's a lot. It's really well packaged. There's a lot of pieces of tape that hold everything in, and like I said, I was very fortunate enough to pick up one of these brand new. So this came straight from the distributor. No one else has touched this, and it has all of the plastics that you will see here in a moment, but it has every single bit of the plastic in between all the different sorts of pieces, and I really appreciated that. Here is the base. And I'm gonna like come out right now and say this is probably my least favorite part of the entire figurine. With the action pose that she is doing, it makes sense for this base to be as big as it is. But my biggest gripe is that wedge that I'm clearly ranting about here in this video. The wedge is very ugly. Like it's very secure. It has a male metal peg and then a female plastic one, where the bottom of the foot obviously slides onto. But that peg just does not look good, and it's not clear whatsoever. But it's a very big stand base. That was very satisfying, taking off those little plastic pieces. Like I said, this thing was a very well packaged. But I would change up the base a little bit. I know that she's doing an action pose and she's leaning quite a bit forward, so it does make sense for it to be a little bit larger. But I kind of wish that for a $200+ figure, it would have had like some sort of interesting base, but beggars can be choosers. It's literally my only gripe with this entire thing. As you can see, the cape is removable from the head, so if you like the look without the cape, you're more than welcome to easily do that. The hair, which I'm about to show here, is incredible. It is so awesome. Like, look. It's almost got this like translucent look to it, but the greens and the mints, like the mint color of this hair, is awesome. It looks like powder coated. It is actually incredible. And a lot of figurines, like my biggest problem with them is the face. The face just looks odd, and this one actually looks amazing. So I was really stoked about that. I chose to go for the cape. She has it in the show, and I really enjoy her entire aesthetic. I think it really wraps it up, and it gives it a little bit of height as well. Also shows off more of the dynamic posing, and I'm a big fan of that. So it's got to sit on there perfectly right, and I'll like explain a little bit more about that later. It's not a big deal, but I'm just big dumb, so it just took me a minute to get used to. But snapping her onto the stand is fairly easy. I just wanted to make sure it was perfectly secure. Yeah, you can see it sliding right there. And then you can see that she's obviously in that action pose. She's leaning quite a bit forward. Like, look at that. She's like very off to the side. I don't know if this angle does justice, but clearly ripping off her hands. kind of like Star Wars. This is where I finagled with the bow. There's obviously 2 interchangeable hands. That was kind of a difficult hand to put on because if, like I said earlier, the cape, if it's not on perfectly, it will sit down in a very specific spot. You'll think it's on, but it'll sit down in a very specific spot. You see it kind of snapping right there. This bowstring, which is made out of metal, actually, it's a metal wire, will rub against different things. But if you have it all set up correctly, that bowstring should not be rubbing up on anything. And then we got just a very awesome pose. Like, I love archers. I almost always play the rangers or snipers in any sort of video game or role-playing game and whatnot. So that's kind of why I leaned for this figure. I really, really do love this figure. There's a lot of things that I could say about this figure that can give it praise. But I think maybe the more important things might be talking about the things I don't like. And like I said, that was pretty much the base was it. I have no other gripes with this figurine, actually. It's very, very nice, and I was thoroughly pleased with the entire purchase in of itself. Talk about some of the highlights. Yeah, see that base, you can clearly see it's there. I was thinking about maybe like making some clay and then like turning it into a rock or something, but I don't want to take away from the figurine itself. I understand why that they did it, but I mean, just leaving it black might have even been better, or white. I don't know. One thing I will say is the shading on this figure is just immaculate. There's a lot of details that go into the creases and small aspects of this figurine that really make it just a next level figurine for me. It's one of the first ones that I've really sat down and paid real good money for. I couldn't be more pleased. There's some very intricate details that make this one feel more believable. Yeah, I'm pointing right here to the grip of the bow, and it looks worn, which is really cool, but it also looks like there's gross like dirt like settled into the handle of the bow, which I thought was really cool. Her knee pads, inside that little like light green layer, there is like just actual pads for when she gets down and kneels, which I thought was like a really cool detail that like the show like just shows, but this one actually is like very prevalent. I thought that was really cool. And then on the quiver, the actual fabric that's like pulled to the corners is like stretched and shaded. You can see it so well. It looks so good. I have nothing but praise for the details of this figure. The arrows, as far as I can see, go all the way down to the bottom, and that's so cool to me. It's so cool because you don't just see like a stop or like at the bottom of it, right, or anything. I thought it was so cool. Obviously get another hand. I don't know what you'd want to do with that, but you got it. Like I said, that bowstring is made of a metal little rod, so you don't have to worry about that thing bending or breaking or anything. Yeah, her hair like has to go over a certain piece if you take it off and put the cape back on and whatnot. Figure looks awesome, like truly. All the details that are brushed in and done. There's also like stuff from the anime that I'm able to like notice that I'm just a huge fan of on this figure. She's just actually very adorable. Like, yeah, I love the obsidian daggers, that detail, and then the pouch, which is funny in the anime because it's like almost always floating on her as well. And then this figurine did it very well with the belt. I thought that was very funny. The small details in this figure and really make it stand out. If you can overlook the base, which a lot of people I think can do because they know that's the standing portion, that they can really look past that and get a really good figure, well worth it. While I can't say that I necessarily recommend the anime to a lot of people for its themes and its brutality at times, I can definitely recommend this figure if this is something that you're interested in, as I am. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys watching and hanging out. If you want to see more content like this, let me know, because this is like a part of my life that I really do enjoy and I'm like getting more into. If you want to hear more about like my pick an anime or manga or like comparisons between the two, Honestly, just let me know down in the comments below if you want to see anything any like sort of semblance of these kind of things. If you want to talk about anime, feel free to either A, join the Discord, and there'll be a link down below, or B, come into my Twitch. My Twitch is right there on screen, and I stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 to 9 Pacific Standard Time. So I really do appreciate you guys watching.
Heightened of number senses, no fairness is needed for pain.